It's a pleasure to welcome you all for my mathematics class. Today I have taken up a problem in game theory. This is the problem in which you find there are two players A and B and they play a game. The strategies that A has are A1, A2, A3 and A4. Likewise, B is having 4 strategies with him. The idea behind the game theory problem is that we have to find with what probability the players might use their strategies and what will be the value of the game. By value of the game, we simply mean who is likely to win in this game. So this is all about the game theory problem. So you see that before we go in deep to solve the problem, first of all we have to find out what is called the saddle point. If there is a saddle point, further going into the problem will not become necessary at all. We need not go into the problem if there be a saddle point. In the case if there is no saddle point, then it becomes a pure game in the sense that it becomes a competitive game, and hence we have to use other methods of solving the game theory problem. Okay, now let us take up this. Now what I do here is that this is the problem given. Now we find a min-max. How to find the saddle point? That is, what we do is, what is the strategy of player A? He goes for min-max technique, and whereas B will go for B will go for min-max and A will go for max. He has got 4 strategies. If he uses the strategy A1 against the strategies of B, namely B1, B2, B3 and B4, he is likely to win 19, 6, 7, 5. What he will do is, he will go through every strategy that he is likely to use and find out the minimum gain that he would get on using that strategies, and among all the minimum he will choose the maximum, that is max min principle. So A will go for a max min principle strategy and B will go for min max, in the sense he will try to find out what is his maximum loss. And understand that when we do a game theory problem, normally here player A and player B, player A is ourselves and we always go for a win, and B is a defender. B is a defender. And another point which I want to just bring to your light is that here this A4, if you come to A4, A uses his strategy A4 against B4, you can find a -1. That -1 simply implies that it makes us understand that it is a gain for B. So if it is a positive number, it is a gain for A. If it is a negative, it is a gain for B. Okay, and we always keep ourselves at A and do the problem. Now, as I was telling you, I'll go for collecting the minimum of, that is the minimum of each row. What is the minimum of this row? 5. And what is the minimum of this? 3. And here 3. What is the minimum of this? 4. What is the minimum of this? Therefore, max of min is equal to, what is the maximum of this? This one. And here come to max. What is the maximum of this? 19. What is the maximum of this? It is 8. What is the maximum of this? 18. What is the maximum of this? 6. Therefore, minimum of max is equal to 90. Minimum of maximum. What is the minimum of maximum here? 6. So here you see that min max is not equal to max min, and therefore there is no saddle point. Hence this is a pure strategy problem. This is a problem of pure strategy. It's a pure game, pure strategy. That means what? It's a competitive game. It is a competitive game. Competitive game. It is a competitive game, and we have to solve by through methods. You have got method of algebra, you have got method, graphical method, and odd bend method. You have got various methods of solving this problem. I will take up this problem, and before we go into solving the problem, what we do is we try to get it up. See, because you must know that a player may have 5 or 6 or 10 or 100 strategies, but among all he will not try to use all the strategies. He will try to gauge the strength of his strategies, and accordingly he will use his strategies. Because can you understand? That means he will have any number of strategies, but among all the strategies he will try choose the best of the strategies and play against a opponent. Okay, so this is the case with A, and this is also the case with B. And while A goes for selecting the strategies, he will try to select the strategies which gives him the upper hand. That means the maximum gain. And correspondingly, what B will do is he will try to choose the strategies which gives him less loss. Can you understand? So these two things we must understand. Now, keeping that is called a dominant. So I am going to use called a dominant law. Dominant law. This is called your dominant law. Dominant law. See, dominant law. What is dominant law? Let us come to this A. Now you see that we will come to A. See, what happens here is that, see, if you take this 19, here 19 is more than 7, 6 is more than 3, but 7 is less than 14, so that you see that in these two strategies, none of them is powerful. That is, it is not, one is not powerful over the other. Likewise, you compare the strategies here. This row 1 with row 3. You find that it is not dominant. Take this A1, compare with what? Here 19, 8, 6, 7. You see that even if one element is more than the corresponding row element, it does not become a dominant one. So here you see that 19 is greater than 8. 7 is greater than, here you see that 7 is less than 13. So it is not dominant. And here you see that 7 is less than 18. So it is not dominant. So you see that if you go row wise, you find that no row is dominating the other rows. Hence, I cannot use the dominant law with respect to A. Okay, let us not bother about that. Let us come to B. Now what is B here? See, 19 is, see here you find 19 is greater than 6, 7 is less than 3, or I will put it in the other way, 6 is less than 19, 3 is less than 7, 8 is less than 12, and 7 is less than 8. That means here if B is going to, between these two strategies, if B is going to select the one, he will select only B2 for the reason that if at all he is going to use this strategy against A, his loss will be minimum. So he will, this becomes, so this B2 dominates B1, and therefore this is struck off. That means B will not use this strategy at all. Now, okay then, let us come to the other one. See, here you find that 7 is greater than 5, 14 is greater, 5 is less than 6, 7, 6 is less than 14, 4 is less than 18, and minus 1 is less than 13. That means what? This B4 dominates B3, and therefore B will not use this strategy. Okay? Now you see that as per B, B1 and B3 are weak strategies in the sense that if they are used, he will have to face a heavy loss. That is, his loss will be very huge. So he will not choose these two strategies. Okay. So B1 and B2, the probability of using B1 and B3 are 0. Okay. Now coming to this. Now come to this 6, 5. Now you see that 8 is. Now you can just search whether row wise elimination is possible. Row wise elimination is possible. Say 6, 5, 3, 6, 8. Say 8 is greater than 7. 4 is greater than minus 1. That means what? This A3 dominates. That means what? Between A3 and A4, A will choose A3 because if he is going to use this strategy, he will gain more. Because if he uses A4, his gain is 7 and his loss in the other case is minus 1. But if he uses A3, his gain will be 8 and 4. So this is a weaker strategy compared to A3, and therefore this will be given up. So you see that, is there any possibility of any other thing? 8 is greater than 3, 4 is less than 6, so you cannot do anything. 6 is greater than 3, but 5 is less than 6, so there also you cannot do. 8 is greater than 6, but 4 is less than 5. So you see that here afterwards you cannot reduce further this matrix, and ultimately understand that you may have any number of strategies for A and B, but ultimately you must be able to bring to a 2 cross 2 matrix. 2 cross 2 matrix, because ultimately what happens between players is that if at all I play, finally I choose only 2 strategies, cut down and come to 2 strategies, and likewise the opponent will also do. So ultimately it will become a 2 cross 2 matrix, and you know very well that any number of teams can play, any number of teams can be there, any number of players can be there. Ultimately 2 players or 2 teams only come into play. So you see that it is going to be a 2 cross 2 matrix only. So we must try and bring to a 2 cross 2 matrix in order to solve the problem. Now, so as per this, B is not going to use his strategy B1. He is not going to use his strategy B3. A will not use his A4. What does this mean? Probability of using the strategy B1 for A is, that means P of B1 is 0. So P of B1 is equal to P of B3 is equal to 0, and P of A4 is equal to 0. That means the strategies, the probability of using the strategy B1 and B3 are 0, and probability of using A4 is 0. So we are confirmed. Now A is left with 3 strategies, A1, A2, A3, and B is left with 2 strategies, B2 and B4. Now we have to find out which is that 2 cross 2 matrix, or which 2 strategies A will use, which 2 strategies B will use in order to play the game. So that is what we are going to do. I hope that I am clear in my explanation. If you have still any doubts in this, you may very well write to my email ID, and I will look into that and see that you are clarified on whatever be the doubts you are having. Okay. Now let me come to this. So what is the final matrix that you are having? So the matrix that you are having is, see, it is A1, player A. He is using A1, A2, A3. Player B, it is B1, it is B3, and it is 6, 5, 3, 6, 8, 4. So you see that this is what he is having. So this is 6, 5, 3, 6 and 8, 4. Now we have to find out which are the two strategies A will use and which are the two strategies B is likely to use. Now let me come to this. So see, this problem cannot be, I will use graphical method to solve this because I have to use necessarily graphical method. I will use the graphical method. See, for using the graphical method, how you should approach is, see, first of all, see here A is having 3 strategies, B is having 2 strategies. So let me write, let P of B1 be your Y, therefore P of B3 will be 1 minus Y. That means, let us suppose that B is going to use the strategy B1 with the probability Y, and therefore naturally the probability of using the strategy 3 is, 1 minus Y. Okay, whatever, we do not know what it is, let us not bother about that. Let us suppose that this is what we are having. Then what I do is, I put this alternative, see, A is alternative strategy. A is alternative strategy is A1, A2, A3. And see, what is this? See, I will write here expected B's payoff. See, what is this expected? See, he is using B1, he is going to use this strategy with Y and this with 1 minus Y. Therefore, what is the expected? You know what is called an expectation? Expectation is nothing but, see, if you have a x1, x2, x3 up to xn, and the probability of using the probability of x1 is p1, probability of x2 is p2, like this. If the probability of this one, let us suppose that x is the random variable with the points x1, x2, x3 up to xn, and pi or the probabilities b1, b2, p1, p2 up to pn. Then the expectation of this x will be equal to x1 into p1 plus x2 into p2 dot xn into pn. So this is the formula like that you can take, that what is the meaning of expectation is nothing but probabilistic average. It is called a probabilistic average. So you see that this is nothing but the average when the probabilities are, or weighted average as you can call. So this is the meaning of that. So I am going to apply this idea here. You see that B1 is going to use the strategy with Y and this with n minus Y. Therefore, his expected payoff, you know what is the payoff means? These are all payoffs. You know what is the meaning of this payoff? See, when A1 plays against B1, when A1 strategy is played against B1 strategy, his payoff is 19. Payoffs are nothing but, it may be money or it may be other things which are nothing but an award like for winning or losing. It is a punishment for losing or an award for winning. So these are all called the payoffs. It may be money or other things. Can you understand? So you see that here, what is that payoff? What is that payoff when B1 uses his strategy Y, probability Y, and this is 1 minus Y. It is 6 into Y. See, it is 6 into Y plus 5 into 1 minus Y. Then if he uses his strategy 2, then it is 3 into Y plus 6 into 1 minus Y. And for the third one, it is 8Y plus 4 into 1 minus Y. So this is called expected payoff function. This is called function. It is called payoff function. You know that this is a function of Y. This is a function of Y, and if you assign the value for Y, you will get what is the real payoff that he gets. Now, what we say is that B will use his strategy with the probability 0 or 1. Correct or not? He will use the strategy. If he is going to use the strategy with y is equal to 0, see, expected gain in y is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1. That means what? If he is going to definitely use this strategy, because he cannot give half, he cannot use both the strategies at a time. He will use this strategy or this strategy. Let us suppose that if he is going to use the strategy with y is equal to 0, that means what? He is not going to use this strategy, means what is his gain? What will be his gain? You put y is equal to 0 here, this will be 0, and here y will be equal to 0, so this is 5. And if he is going to definitely use the strategy 1, y is equal to 1, y is equal to 1 means what? Definitely he is going to use that strategy only. So if he is going to use this strategy with 1 probability, you see that this is 1 minus 1 is, so if he is going to 0, it is 0 means 5. So if he is going to use it as 1 means it is 6. Can you see this? 1 minus 1 is 0. Likewise, if he is going to use with strategy 0, so this will be 0, so it will be 6. And 6, 5, okay? Then, you see that if he is going to use with the strategy 1 means it is 3. Then, next one, if he is going to use this strategy with 0 means what? This is 0, it is 4. And this is 1 means what? 8. So you see that here, if he is going to 6, 3, 4, 8, okay. Now, so you see that, so this is the table, and this, I will use this expected gain, namely for y is equal to 0 and y is equal to 1, to draw the graph to determine which two strategies B will use. Can you understand? Which two, that is, he will use two strategies. Which two strategies A is likely to use? Can you understand? Using this, I will draw a graph and try to find out which two strategies A is likely to use to counter B. Because B is having only two strategies. So, which two strategies A will use to counter A, that is what I am going to find. Now, you see that here, so A1 strategy, A2 strategy, A3 strategy, for which if you suppose that probability of using B1 is Y, therefore B3 is 1 minus Y. So his expected B's payoff function, you know what is the meaning of function? This is a function of Y. This is a function of y. See, what is that? Expectation I have taught you here. What is the expectation? If x is a random variable with points x1, x2, x3 up to x4 with the probability b1, p1, p2, p3 up to pn, then the expectation of x is x1 into p1 plus x2 into p2. They are called weighted average or probabilistic average as you call. So you see that I am going to use the same idea here. 6 into y plus 5 into 1 minus y. 3 into y plus 6 into 1 minus y. 8 into y plus 4 into 1 minus y. So this is called your expected payoff function. Now we want to find what is the real gain that B will make if he is going to use, because he can use y, he can use either B1 or B3. So if he is not going to use his strategy, strategy y is equal to 0 means what? Y is equal to 0 means what will happen? Here y is equal to 0 means he will not use this B1. That is the meaning of that. So if he is going to take y is equal to 0, you put y is equal to 0, this is 0, so 5 into 1 is 5. So you see that, so if it is 1, it is 6. So you substitute the values for x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 1, you get this. Now with this, I will draw the graph and try to find out which are the two strategies A is likely to use against the two strategies of B. Okay, now here is that, see, so I try to find the values for A and B to draw the graph. So you see that I will draw here. So you see that here this is just 0 and 1. This is 0 and 1 has no big meaning. That is 0 and 1, and you see that if you can draw a line, see here you draw a line, below that it is negative and above this it is positive, but in our problem you see that the values are only positive, so there is nothing to worry on that. So this is 1, and you take equal scaling like this. It is 2, then 4, 6, 8. So you see that 2, 4, 6, 8, and you have to draw the graph of this. What do you do here is that, see, 5, 6, where is your 5? 2, 4, 5 is in the middle, here in the middle, and 6 is here. So draw it with thin lines. So this is, if you keep it apart, then if you use the scale and pencil, you will be able to draw very well. So 5, 6. Then 6, 3. Where is your 6? This is your 3. So this is your 3. So draw with a pencil and scale, then only you will get it correctly, otherwise you will not get it at all. So this is what you get here. Then 4, 8. So 4, 8. 4, 8. 4, 8. Yeah. So you see that I have drawn this. So I have drawn the 3 lines, and after drawing the graph, you try to find out, see, what, now your problem is now to find keeping this B. What, see, B, what is this gain or loss? That is what I am going to find. What is, I keep B in my mind now and do the problem. And this graph is drawn with B in my mind. What is B's strategy? His strategy is min-max. Min-max. So you see that B will try to, see, B, what B will do is, see, as you go up, as you go up, you see the values rise, and A will, what is the tendency of A will try to go and catch hold of that point where he will gain the maximum. Can you understand? Because you see that minimum, after then a maximum, after, so from min to maximum he will climb to catch hold of the maximum. Whereas B strategy is maximum. He will go to the maximum, and among all the maximum he will try to find out the minimum. That is what I told you. Min max. He will search for all the maximum loss. Among all the losses, maximum losses, he will choose, he will try to meet the lowest maximum. Can you understand? He will try to choose, will take, select the lowest maximum. I told you, I have given you this. Say min max. Max min, and here it will be what? Min max. It is a max min. For B it is for B, it is. For B, it is min max. So you see that he will see all the maximum and he will try to catch hold of the minimum. So you see that B, when you take B will go in search like this. He will go down, because when you go down and down, the values of will get reduced. You see that? So after then you see that up to this, then it will go down to negative values. So you see that he will try to go as far below to see that he is keeping the loss minimum. Now let us come to this. So you see that whenever you draw a graph like this, try to find out a open space like this. I will draw this. See, can you see this? I will shade something here. Can you see this? So this is a open space that you are having. You must be able to catch. You cannot take this. Don't take this space where it lies above a line. And you must search, you must look for a open space, a open tetrahedron. You see that? Here you see that a open space is here. In this open space, try to find out the intersection of the lines. Can you understand? So you just go, for example, if you have this region, suppose by chance you are having this region, means you will go from this point to this point and this point, this is your open space. So you will select that. If it is in the case of A. But in the case of B, you come from the top and you find that here, I will write here, this is your 6. Let me call this as O. Here there is P and this is Q, and let me call this as my M. So O, P, Q, M. You see that it is showing an open area like this. So you must select such an area. When you are doing a graphical method problem, you have to see, you must look into this. If there be any points, because there may be lines which may be, see, there is a line which is down below, but it is below the lines and it does not, here you see that it gets cramped here. So you see that you cannot take this. You have to choose that area where the lines encompass. Can you understand? You see that you choose this area where the lines encompass. Here you see that this line, this point, here this point, and they enclose it. So you must look for such an area, open area like that. And you see, you consider all the intersection of lines. See here this O, don't bother about this O. P and Q are the two intersecting points. Can you see this? This line and this line, all the three lines, they get intersected at the points P and Q. Can you understand? So this point also, here there is one point below this line. You cannot take that because it does not come up to this. I gave you the reason. So this point cannot be taken. Only this point P and this point Q are taken here. And between these 2 points, you must choose the one which gives minimum for B. Because for this, see, these 2 points are like this. This is Q and this is P. And you see that now, when you go down below, the value gets reduced. So B will try to always see that his loss is minimum. So you see that here there are 2 losses here. One is loss at Q and loss at P. Here loss at Q is more than loss at P. Loss at Q is more than loss at P. So which point he will choose? He will choose only this point. So this P point will be chosen as a reference point to form the 2 cross 2 matrix. Okay. So you see that this point P and Q I have elaborately written here. This Q point is here, P point is here, and you see that this point is lying lower than Q, which means that if B chooses this point, he has to incur or he has to pay a less loss. His loss will be lower, that is small. It is the least, I can say. It is the least loss that he can meet in this game. So you see that this P is the correct point. It shows that his loss will be minimum. So with reference to this point P, you just see which are the 2 lines they intersect. Now you see that, come to this point P. This point P is the intersection of the lines 5 6 and 6 3. Can you see here? So you see that this point P, how do you get this point P? This point P is like this. This point P is, how do you get this point P? So this point P, it is like this, and you see that it is going like this. These 2 points, and here you can see this point P, and this is the point which is the connection of the points of intersection of 6 and 3. So you see that this is the point P. So this is the point B, which is nothing but the intersection of the lines joining 5 6 and 6 3, and therefore correspondingly you will choose that 2 cross. What is this 6 3 and 3 6? See, it is 5 6 and 6 3. See, here it is 5 6 and 6 3. Correspondingly, what is the points here? So which matrix? This refers to the 2 cross matrix, namely 6 5 and 3 6. Can you understand? See, this is with which I have drawn the graph, but corresponding to this 5 6 and 6 3 are the 2 lines which intersect at P. That means corresponding to these 4 points, you have got here the matrix 6 5 and 3 6, and therefore see, P is the point, P is the point that gives least loss for B. See, if it is least for loss for B, and understand that I very boldly say that they are a loss, because B will definitely be defeated here, for the simple reason that here all the elements are, can you see this? All the elements are 6 5 3 6 8 4. They are all positive. If they are positive numbers, I can very well say that A will only win and B will definitely lose. So taking that into account, you see that B will try to see that he incurs the minimum loss, and you see that P is the point that gives the least loss for B, and the corresponding, see, corresponding, I'll write here, corresponding, see, corresponding 2 cross 2 matrix, 2 cross 2 matrix is, now you see that this is the one, but this is not the one. Corresponding to this, what is your original matrix here? 2 cross 2 matrix is 6 5 3 6. So this is the matrix. So what is the 2? So that's what I told you. So you have to find the 2 cross 2 matrix, because A will use 2 strategies, B will use 2 strategies, and therefore these are the 2 cross 2. This is the 2 cross 2 matrix, which means that A is using his best of the 2 strategies, and B is also using his best of these 2 strategies. B will try to keep his loss minimum, A will try to keep his maximum. Can you understand? Now we have to solve this 2 cross 2 matrix, namely 6 5 3 6. So I will explain once. This I told you what is the meaning of this for this. So I told you what is the dominant law. Using the dominant law, I am able to reduce it to the matrix 6 3 8 and 5 6 4. Then I told you that this can be solved only by using graphical method. For graphical method, I must be able to get the proper values to draw the graph. So what I have done is that I have using the strategies of A1, A2, A3, I try to find out the expected loss or gain for B. If he uses the strategies B2 and B3 with probabilities Y and minus Y, and these are the values that I have got here. I'm using this, I draw the graph here. So this is 0 and 1, and this length is arbitrary. Don't take very big or don't take too small, just a length you have to take, and plot the points like this and draw the lines 5 to 6, 5 to 6, 4 to 8 and 6 to 3, and they will all intersect. And you find that since you are keeping in your mind B and trying to find out what is the loss that B is likely to meet. So for B, here he will try to see that his loss is kept minimum. So you draw the graph and go down in the open area like this, and go to that point, catch hold of that point which is the least. You see that here there is one point Q and there is one point P. Q stands above P. It means that the loss because of Q will be more and the loss because of P will be less comparatively. So you choose P, and this P is nothing but the point of intersection of the lines joining 5, 6 and 6, 3. Corresponding to that, what is the matrix that you are having? 6, 5 and 3, 6, which is nothing but the 2 cross 2 matrix, which we have to solve. And here, while you go for using this, see that you are getting an open area like this. It is, see, can you see this? It's a O, P, Q, then M. It has an open area like this. You must choose whether it is for A or for B. It must be the same treatment must be given in order to find the points of intersection of the lines. And if it is for B, go to the lowest, and if it is for A, you just go up and up and see that take the topmost point in that, and that will be that point of intersection. Corresponding to that, you'll have two lines, and the two lines will determine the 2 cross 2 matrix. Okay, so this is the 2 cross 2 matrix. Now let me solve this 2 cross 2 matrix. See, I'll solve this. There are two ways, two ways of solving this. I will use one way of solving that. So you see that here you are having 6, 5. So the 2 cross 2 matrix is what is a 2 cross 2 matrix? It is A1 and A2, B1, B3. So you see that it is 6, 5 and 3, 6. And you see that here you go for finding, see, lambda, see that lambda value, see that is, strategy, I will write here, strategy of, here I can put this, I will write here P strategy of SA1, SA2, SA3, SA4. This is P1, P2, P3, P4. So this is what you have here. And SB1, SB2, SB3, SB4, Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. Now you see that B1 and B3 are only used. So here B1, B2 is 0, B4 is 0. And A is using A1, A2, A3 is 0, A4 is 0. So you see that here with regard to this, A1 is using some strategy, A is using his strategy A and A1, and therefore A1 and A2 will remain. Strategy, probability of strategy A3 is 0, probability of A4 is 0, and likewise strategy probability of B2 is 0, probability of Q4 is 0. Now you see that here this is what we have, and now see we will coin what is called your lambda. See, lambda value is equal to, so it is like this, A11 plus A22 minus it is A12 plus A21. So this is a method of doing it, or other methods are also there. 6 plus 6 is 12 minus 8, that is equal to 4. Then you see that, then see this is what we have. I'll rub off this. Or you can do like this also. See, subtract the 6 minus 3 is 3. Take the absolute values. Subtract and take the absolute values. 6 minus 3 is 3. This is 1. 6 minus 5 is 1. and this is 3. And you see that the addition of these two must be the same, 1 plus 3. So the probability of using PA1 is 3 by 4. Probability of using A2 is 1 by 4. See, can you see this? Here you see that it is 4. Probability of using A1 is 3 by 4. Probability of using A2 is 1 by 4. Probability of using B1 is 1 by 4. Probability of using 3 is 1 by 4. See, we will see whether we get. Now, probability of A1. See, probability of A1. See, probability of A1 will be equal to what? 6 minus 3 is 3. See, A22 minus A21 divided by lambda. A22 is this, 6 minus 3, 3 by 4. Then, therefore, P of A2 is equal to 1 minus, this is your P1, huh? 1 minus P1, that is equal to 1 by 4. Then, what is your Q1? It is P of B1. It is A22 minus A12 divided by lambda. So 6 minus 5 divided by lambda is 4, that is equal to 1 by 4. Therefore, P of B3 is equal to 1 minus, this is your P2, and 1 minus 1 by 4. So this is what we are having. Or else you see that here A1 is 3 by 4. So what is the probability of here itself we can write. See here, probability of A1 is equal to, see here it is 4, 3 by 4. Probability of B A2 is, you can subtract or you can find 1 by 4. So you see that this is 1 and this is 1 by 4. And likewise probability of B1, see B1 is 1 by 4. Probability of B3 is equal to 3 by 4. So you see that what is the value of this? P1 is 3 by 4. It is 1 by 4. Q1 is 1 by 4. And this is 3 by 4. So we are finding the probabilities with which the strategies A1, A2, A3 and A4 will be used. Strategies of the probability of B1, B2, B3, B4 will be used. So this is one set of answer. So this is our answer. So this is your answer. And finding the value of the game. Value of the game is equal to, so here you see that it is nothing but what? The determinant of 6, 5, 3, 6 divided by lambda. So what is a 6, 5, 3, 6? 6 into 6 is 36 minus 15 divided by, it is 4, lambda is 4. So this is equal to 21 divided by 4. So value of game is equal to 21 by 4. So this is what. So what is the meaning of this? The value of the game is positive and hence A wins. That's what I told you. A will win because all are positive. There is no other go. It cannot be otherwise. So you see that here the strategies are found. The probability of using the strategies are found, and that the value of the game is found, and therefore these form the answer to the problem. And therefore what I will write here is conclusion. You must write conclusion. See, conclusion is for A, P1, P2, sorry, this one A, A1, A2, A3, A4, P1, P2, P3, P4. So you see that you can start, you can write this again. That is more than enough. So this itself forms the answer. So you see that this one, and you write value of game is equal to 21 by 4. That is A wins. So this is conclusion. So conclusion. So the conclusion is that the strategies of SA1, SA2, SA3, SA3 they refer to strategies of A. This is for A, and this is for B. For A, the strategies are A1, A2, A3, A4, P1, P2, P3, P4, and we have found. Likewise for Q, and the value of the game is this, and this is the this. So this is a very, very important problem. This has come in university examination, either in Anna University or in Madras University. So you see that this is an important problem. I'll teach you. If you have any doubts, you can write to me, and I will look into that and see that your doubts are cleared. Thank you. One